Hey guys, Asher Command today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you all here with me today talking some Raid Shadow Legends. What could be better? Send some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today as well. Hey guys, I did something that I promised I would really never ever do, but I did it anyway.
We know.
I was traveling. I was going for the, actually it wasn't even the fusion. I can't even use that excuse. It was before the fusion. I was traveling. I got one sacred shard from my clan boss and I opened it during an Acelin event and finally got my hands on Acelin after trying basically every time except for the prism shards. I didn't go that crazy to get my hands on Acelin the Stalwart.
You've changed, man. You've changed.
He's the Banner Lord faction commander, captain, lord, whatever you want to call him, right? He has the extra abilities to Banner Lords, or when Banner Lords are on the same team as him. He has a stun on the A1, ignoring some of their resistance, blah, blah, blah. On the A2, he's got a heal based on the full value of shields on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. Then he removes the shields from allies and attacks all enemies. Damage dealt by this attack is equal to the total value of all the shields removed, and it cannot exceed 1000% of this champion's defense. I don't think that's going to be a major factor here. I think they added that as a corpulent cadaver future, you know, don't have to nerf them when someone figures out how to grow shield a million times with Brogdie or something like that, right? Anyway, behold the banner. This is on a 3-turn cooldown when booked, and this is where things get really unique in this kit, and this dude's hard to build, man. He's hard to build. He's not a complicated champion, but he's a weird champion, and he's kind of new, right? There's only 2 of these champions in the game right now, these faction lords or whatever. Plays a shield on equal to 30% of this champion's max HP on all allies for 2 turns, and an ally protection on allies except this champion for 2 turns, okay? If there's one faction ally, not including him on the same team, it's going to instantly activate this skill whenever an ally is revived, not putting it on cooldown. That's really good, really good. When there's 2 on the same team, he's placing a block damage on himself for 2 turns, a la a Kyoku. He becomes really one of the best ally protectors in the game when you have 2 faction allies on the same team. And if you have 3 on the same team, well, buffs placed by this skill cannot be removed. Insanely good, right? Obviously. Knights Revenant, Knights of Knights on the passive. Allies under shield buffs receive 10% less damage, so that's really good. Damage mitigation when they're under a shield, which he has. Allies under shield, if there's one faction ally on the team, they're immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, and petrification. Wow, now we're talking, right? And then on the 2 faction allies, they'll have a 20% chance of counterattacking whenever they're hit. And then if there's 3 on the team, the value of all shields are increased by 100%, except for ones granted from like a bolster or shield set. Whoa, there's so many cool synergies here. His aura also is beefed up if he, for other Banner Lords, excuse me, on the team. So what do we think of this dude? I went and I watched a bunch of videos on Acelin to prepare for today's video. Some of them thought he was amazing. Some of them thought he was really, really underwhelming. You know, I personally feel that he's really, really, really good, okay?
Look, I really don't want to hurt you.
I wouldn't stress about it.
Oh!
Hellhades.com gives him a 4.5 overall grade. I'm trying to get it on the screen. There you go. And I actually agree with this score wholeheartedly. That's what I would score him as too. In terms of different areas we can use him, they give him a 4 in Hydra. I agree. I think block damage is always dangerous in Hydra, right? Clan Boss 5, Doom Tower Waves 5, a 4 in every dungeon. Ice Golem Heart, I would give him a 5. Easy. You need that support. Scarab King, for obvious reasons, a 5. Arena, 4.5. Now, here's the deal, guys. I saw this guy in Gold 3. I saw him on a couple teams paired with, shocker, Taras and Marichka, right? Without Taras and Marichka, is he like an S-tier arena champion? I would probably say no, personally, right? You could have some very interesting combinations with him, though. Obviously, there's a lot of good Banner Lords, newsflash, in the game, right? There's Baron, there is Kaja, there is a Kaja Timid, like, tandem champion with Acelin on the team. There is Rhonda. There is, you could have some fun, like a little off-meta fun with a Killian or a Sathalia or something like that as well. There's Rathalos, right? So there's a lot of interesting champions that he could be on the same team in an arena comp. Even we look at epics, right? There's a lot of, cool combinations, even in Ursula, because when she revives, he'll instantly activate that A3, right? So there's a lot here. There's also a new high elf, by the way, in case you guys missed it. It's Fina, Blade of Aravia, excuse me. She is the high elf version of this lord. What is she? Reviews are kind of mixed on these. Now, here's the thing. I'm just going to cut to the chase here. You can get more damage out of him, obviously, by building him in Savage gear, by going all out with the nukes on the A2, because that shield ability, it's not incredibly intuitive, at least not for me. But that shield ability that he has, that remove the shield and do damage equal to them, it does get a lot stronger with crit rate, crit damage, savage, ignore defense, all that stuff, which I wasn't sure about, honestly, at first, because I'm going to cast the shield here just to show it off, right? I have a crit rate right now on his gauntlets, okay? So we'll do it now. Boom. 30 to 40k or so, right? Now I'm going to take the crit rate off the gauntlets, and you'll see that that damage is definitely going to go down, right? Now, the reviews that I've seen on this dude that were down on him, it was mainly due to the damage, right? It wasn't blowing anybody away. They were like, he's not that broken, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I am not so concerned with the damage on that A2. It's kind of a shame because it could be amazing. And like I said, you can have some nifty combinations of Grow Shield and all, a lot of cool ideas that you could probably run with this guy. However, Brogni's not a Bannerlord at the end of the day too, so that does factor in as well. But for me, I'm building him as an like a Kyoku, only better because of that passive, right? In some ways, right? And especially when you pair him with broken, disgusting champions like Marichka and Taurus. So I am not going to focus on the damage as much as a lot of people who are underwhelmed with him are. And I just picked the wrong gauntlets to put on him.
Now, reality can be whatever I want.
I thought I had some really good speed gauntlets. Where the heck are they, man? Were they... One sec. Okay, so I like this build a lot better, guys. I want to build him as some tanky, healer, support, the whole nine, with block damage half the time as well, right? So I built him with 90k, 5800 on 90k HP, 5800 on the defense, which scales really well at 1564. Very, very high base defense. I gave him HP on the banner. I gave him HP on the amulet. I gave him HP on the gauntlets. I gave him HP percentage on the boots as well. I gave him defense percentage on the chest, defense percentage on the gauntlets as well. Let's see if we can get a decent ascension stat here. Now, in a perfect world, I'd probably go 2 HP percentages and 1 defense percentage to get more value out of that shield. But we're going to get by just fine with 90k HP. But again, I'd probably rather have that HP to be around whatever it would be, 105k or so instead, and sacrifice a little bit of defense. But either way, we're going to be totally cool there. He is booked out. I don't have masteries on him yet. So take that into consideration, right? So in the arena, we're here in Platinum Arena right now. Yeah, he's going to be insane when you put him with already strong champions. I have Kaja the Rai, Marichka, and Taurus. Kaja, because we definitely want to put him with another reviver on the same team. Now, emergency heal is a really cool mastery to consider for this guy, or a blessing, excuse me, to consider with for this guy. Emergency aid or emergency heal. I'm totally drawing a blank on that. But either way, it's kind of cool, right? Get the heal with the shield. I just find it that we don't really need the heal half the time for himself, right? Anyway, we're gonna go behold the banner, right? So everything's gonna be protected here, the ally protection, and he's gonna have the 2 turns, even though he has 2 turn stone skin. I think maybe only 1 turn is necessary for obvious reasons. But like, good luck killing this team, right? I mean, not only do you have to deal with a tanky Marichka and Taurus, obviously, but Kaja I have built with super high resistance, right? Hence the team power being very, very high. I have a really high resistance as a resistance cleanser and a reviver, which will instantly activate this dude's A3. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, guys, and I want to make sure I'm going against like really nice teams here. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, I've been going against this guy more and more and more often in Gold 3 Live Arena. That's over 4,000. Hell Hades.
Pay attention to me, I'm bored.
Did you guys hear that in the background or no? The website. It was the website. Okay, we're back. I've been going against this guy a lot more often with Taras and Marichka, and I've noticed this in the past too, that a new, champion comes out, people don't really use him that much in the beginning, and then slowly but surely things start catching on, and next thing you know, they're dominating everywhere. And in this case, again, that's the Shield Crush. Not seeing a ton of damage there. I think he's gonna. I think there's a chance that he continues in popularity. When there's more ways to get him, you can't pull him from shards unless there's a special event or whatever going on. But man, he's pretty dang strong. He's very unique, I'm not sitting here saying he's the best, champion in the game or anything like that. But boy, like I said, very difficult to kill a team like this, because even if you can take care of my reviver in Kaja, well, Marichka's going to revive everybody anyway off of her passive, right? So you'd have to deal with basically Marichka and Kaja the Rai on this team. And I don't know, man. Now, listen, I get it. The 99% of players don't have Kaja and Taras and Marichka.
Stop making fun of us, okay?
I'm just talking about kind of end game. Now, in the mid game with this dude, I still think there's a lot of potential, right? Just in progression, in faction wars, wherever, in Hydra, right? Just gotta be careful with that block damage. Gotta be very careful. I don't know about you guys, but I always try on the err on the side of not using the block damage in Hydra. I just don't like that. But I think that we can basically smoke almost any team with this sort of a combo, very, very strong. I think you guys kind of get the point probably. But I don't want to make this video all about just endgame goal 5, which nobody cares about, right? In live arena. I really want to make it that this guy, again, I've seen some people throw shade at him. He's super hard to get. We're aware of that, right? But I think he's really freaking good. Really good, even progression wise. So let's put him on another team here. This team doesn't have a reviver though. Well, but I still want it to go kind of fast. Let's just go with it. Let's just see how he does here, right? I want to see how he does against Ice Golem hard 10, which obviously, well, hey, newsflash, he hits really hard, right? What about you guys so far? Where do you stand in this debate? I was pretty surprised at the reviews so far. They're pretty low, and I'm really excited about this guy. Now, as I shared, and I probably should have mentioned this at the top of the video and not towards the end of the video, but as I mentioned initially, I'm really disappointed. Not that they did this. I think this is a super freaking cool idea, right? Having faction lords or whatever, a type of champion that can just improve their faction mates. That's awesome. I think it's a freaking killer idea. I really do. I just wish they would have been a bit more creative in how to get them. I think it's really lame that they can't be pulled by from shards, except for on very random prism events or something stupid like that, or a 10x event, right? I got very lucky and pulled him on one sacred shard. Very lucky, but I acknowledge that. That was just me getting very lucky.
No, sir. You're in faction first.
I think it would have been so much cooler if they still could not have been pulled by shards, right? I think that would have been awesome. Like, I understand that. Make them exclusive, make them feel special, right? I get that. However, I think it would have been so freaking cool to tie them into faction wars. Add a few more stages onto each faction war, and then don't tie it into Lydia or anything like that. This is the hard mode of faction wars, right? And once we clear the hard mode of faction wars, we get we get fragments or whatever for that respective leader of that faction. Wouldn't have that been so cool? Instead, we've got this. And hey, you could still make them a part of special events in the game, these champions, right? I have to say, so far so good with this squad, by the way, in the background here, right? So far so good. It's not the fastest run, but it feels very safe. He's like, you probably saw my team that I was using before this. It's with Kyoku, right? Because I think Kyoku is the best protector in the game. Well, now I think I would put this guy up there, but of course, it's predicated on having Banner Lords. You don't need to have Taras and Marichka. I'm just doing that for sense of speed here on this run, but you don't need to have those two in a situation like this. yeah, in Gold 4 to get a ton of use case out of Acelin, you probably have to have at least a few of those options, right? Or maybe a Timid in a Kasha, or you know, a Baron or whatever, you know? Man, for progression, sticking with Archmage Helmet, Stag Knight or whatever, right? You're still gonna get a lot of protection from those champions. So I like him overall. I would grade him very high. I think he's a tremendous protector. I just wish he was implemented to the game in a better way. And it's such a shame because they could have done really some cool stuff, you know, because I feel like Faction Wars, I mean, they haven't touched it in a billion years, you know? Give us a little bit of a hard mode. Would that bother you guys if there was a hard mode? Okay, so a revive happened right there. Marichka wipes, and that's why he and Marichka are so potent together. Because not only does she revive him with her passive, but he comes back, he protects everybody, he shields everybody. What's the only problem about Marichka's passive? And I say that loosely, she's broken, ridiculously strong. But the only problem is your heroes on the team are susceptible to dying, right? Because they have no protection off that revive. But now they do. They have ally protection and a great shield. So, guys, there it is, Acelin the Stalwart. I'm a big fan. Let me know how you guys feel about this champion as well. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.